The official INDYCAR app, powered by NTT data, puts the pulse-pounding action of INDYCAR right at your fingertips. Never miss a lap with the latest news, highlights, and live race coverage. Track every move with real-time leaderboards, interactive maps, onboard cameras, and driver radio. Your all-access pass to every race, every moment, every day. Download the official INDYCAR app now.
Back at Iowa, and as we move ever closer to the start of the race, let's take a look at your starting grid, sponsored by NTT.
Scott Dixon, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Rinus VK, Hoofddorp, the Netherlands.
I'm Jacob Abel from Louisville, Kentucky.
Stingray Rob, Hayat, Idaho.
Devlin DeFrancesco, Toronto, Ontario.
I'm Christian Lundgaard from Vejle, Denmark.
I'm Kyle Kirkwood from Jupiter, Florida.
Santino Ferrucci, Woodbury, Connecticut.
I'm Colton Herta from Valencia, California.
Hi, I'm Kevin Simpson from the Cayman Islands.
Christian Rasmussen, I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Louis Foster, Odium, England.
Alexander Rossi, Nevada City, California.
Marcus Ericsson, Kumla, Sweden.
I'm Callum Wylo, I'm from Cambridge in the UK.
Marcus Armstrong, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Robert Schwartzman, born in Israel, Tel Aviv.
Graham Rahal, Columbus, Ohio.
Pato Award, Monterey, Mexico.
I'm Scott Dixon, driver of the number 9 PNC Bank Honda from Auckland, New Zealand.
Connor Daly from Noblesville, Indiana.
Will Power, Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia.
Josef Newgarden, Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm David Malucas, grown up in Chicago, Illinois.
Felix Rosenquist, Värnamo, Sweden.
Hello, I'm Alex Palou. I'm from Barcelona, Spain.
One driver missing from the grid today, Nolan Siegel, a mild concussion after his accident yesterday, confirmed by team boss Tony Kanaan. So down to 26 starters for today's race. We wish Nolan well. We hope he's going to be back in the saddle next weekend in Toronto. A tough break for him after a great race yesterday. Let's go down to the track for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome University of Iowa football player, Jay Higgins.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, it may be a short lap, but it is a very fast short lap. The fastest short track on the planet. Let's take a look at the Honda track preview.
Yeah, about 9/10 of a mile here at Iowa, and it is banked even on the front straightaway. Max speed of 184 miles an hour. Dario Franchitti won twice here. 4.4 Gs, though, through the middle of 1 and 2. And how about this? How'd you do this, bud? 2-time winner.
All about using both lanes, Townsend. That's the key here at Iowa. Down that back straight, the only actual straight part of the racetrack into 3 and 4. Speaking of 3-time winner here, Ryan Hunter-Reay. That variable banking, such a key to success here.
You get to turn 4, and this was the castle that the king built. The king of core country, Josef Newgarden, a 6-time winner, almost made it 7th yesterday. He'll be one to watch right now.
And look at that statistic under those wins. 2,079 laps led around this circuit. There's the weather. It's pretty similar conditions to what we had yesterday for race 1, but track temperature up 5 degrees at 117 as the cars make their way out on track. Let's head down a pit lane.
Could we see a first-time winner today? 23-year-old David Malucas from the Chicago area is starting third, and he's been really good on these types of tracks. He finished 2nd and 3rd before in a short oval, 2nd in the Indy 500 this year. Not super strong yesterday, finished 12th, but they didn't test here. The AJ Foyt team, one of 2 that did not, and they kept getting better and better as the race went along. They feel like they are in play today. To Jack Harvey.
Thanks, Kevin. The driver that I'm watching today is number 60 of Felix Rosenquist. Not the best day for the 60 car. I managed to talk to Adam Roversini, he's the strategist. He told me that they made some quite big changes overnight, but they're keeping a really methodical approach. They're going to keep working at all the areas they know they can to try and have a better day today. Georgia.
Jack, I'm watching Christian Rasmussen today. He was incredibly exciting to watch yesterday. 19th to 6th. He had everything. Passing. He had a 650-foot slide and saved and kept it going. Everything to watch. Contact, you name it. He's made up 47 positions on his 3 oval starts this year, and he's going to look to do a few more today, starting from 17th. Watch Christian Rasmussen.
You want to talk about that save, Georgia, in turn 3. It was incredible. That's 2 football fields. He spent sideways at over 150 miles an hour. Such an impressive run.
Well, let's take a look at the Verizon race strategy, because yesterday, guys, it was all about taking those stops under caution.
And there it is, in and out. That's what won Pato Award the race yesterday, a really quick in-lap. Use the high line. You got to be able to get around traffic. You got to have a car that's good on both of these lanes and go long. You called it yesterday, Townsend.
Yeah, you do not want to pit under green on a short oval unless you absolutely have to. Try to hang out and get a yellow. Stay on the racetrack.
Yesterday was the Penske show. This man in particular, Scott McLaughlin, in the Gallagher Insurance car. Today, different colors, putting on an incredible show. But his teammates, Will Power and Josef Newgarden ahead, absolutely ruled the roost. More than that, it was a Chevrolet day, with Pato Award taking the win. On today's grid, though, it's a Honda 1-2 with Palou and Rosenqvist. Keep your eyes out for drivers who have yet to win a race in their entire careers, though. Malucas starts in 3rd. Daly starts in 7th. And what about the likes of Santino Ferrucci and the aforementioned Christian Rasmussen? Palou will wind it up. They run 2 by 2 into turn 3. We are about to get things started here for the 2nd time this weekend at the Iowa Speedway. Your championship leader, Alex Palou, will lead the field to green. Alongside him is Rosenqvist. Malucas and Newgarden sit 3rd and 4th. We have the green flag and we have racing here at the Iowa Speedway. 3 abreast, 4 abreast down into turn 1. Running the low line, and Palou trying to scamper away already as the field gets underway for race 2.
Watching Josef Newgarden, he wants to make quick work of those top 3 cars. He's already up to 3rd. He's already deposes.
There's a big hit.
Turn 4.
Underneath our camera position, and that is Devlin DeFrancesco.
Is that McLaughlin as well?
It is McLaughlin. One of the drivers we had expected to be making moves up. He grinds to a halt on the grass, his rear wing damaged, and what a shame for one of the most electrifying races in the field yesterday.
Remember back to the 2nd race of the season at Thermal, it was these 2 drivers on the start at the back of the field that also crashed. Let's see if we can figure out what happens. There is Scott McLaughlin in that light blue Gallagher car, just hanging out high, and unfortunately Devlin just loses it and clips the back of Scott McLaughlin.
Did McLaughlin get into him? Did Dev have to check up a little bit there?
No, I think McLaughlin was high, and Dev just lost it.
Yeah, you're right, T-Bow. Just nowhere he could go. Sort of similar to the spin we saw Nolan Siegel yesterday for Dev, just down low, loses the back of the car, cold tires.
Similar to the spin that we saw from Dev at Gateway, to be completely fair. And McLaughlin, an innocent bystander, and wouldn't have been there if he hadn't have made up so many positions right from the start. A sign of what might have been, and isn't that just the story of his season? AMR IndyCar safety team has arrived on the scene, and we will be back on this scene soon. Welcome back. Under caution here at Iowa, the damaged cars of Scott McLaughlin and Devlin DeFrancesco being taken back to the garage area. Here a replay of what happened. Devlin DeFrancesco just losing the rear, spinning upwards, taking out the rear left of Scott McLaughlin. Both drivers out immediately from the race, and desperately disappointing for Dev, who'd wanted to get a good result on the books today, and of course for Scott McLaughlin, who had had such a brilliant run yesterday, making up 23 positions to narrowly miss out on the podium. And Townsend, you talked about the fact these two have previous, and it goes back to the second round of this season at Thermal, lap 1, turn 1, and there we go.
Yeah, right at the start of the race, the two of them get collected. Here's McLaughlin, Devlin into the side of Scott McLaughlin. Led to a drive-through penalty as DeFrancesco was able to continue. And then later on, post-race, this.
We're supposed to be side by side in turn 15. More. Why? We're supposed to be side by side. No, we're supposed to be side.
A slight difference of opinions between the two of them. No love lost there, but good to see them both getting out of the car and heading towards
brutal for
INDYCAR
McLaughlin,
Medical.
though. I mean, think about the day that he had yesterday, carving through the field from the back. It was on today, and there's nothing more frustrating than to have that happen, as it looks like we're getting ready to go green here.
And he was so excited about going back racing today. He said that even though he didn't win the race, it felt like a win, given what he was up against. And the race that he put in yesterday, he said, was one of his favorite in his entire IndyCar career, and with good reason.
Look, it's fun when you can start at the back with a strong car and cut your way out through the field. He would have loved to have gotten on the podium, gotten that trophy. He got the trophy for the most positions gained, but yeah, to see the the sort of juxtaposition between his smiles yesterday and what are no doubt big disappointments today.
Well, that absolutely kills my IndyCar fantasy team for today, I'll tell you that much. Right, we're getting ready to go back to green. Palou will lead this field. Rosenqvist second. Newgarden is third from Malucas. Power, Connor Daly, Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, Marcus Armstrong, and Graham Rahal. That's your top 10. And now Palou punches it, and Rosenqvist tries to go with him, but keep your eye on Will Power just behind David Malucas. As Scott Dixon has a look at Pato O'Ward, and O'Ward himself wants to get past Connor Daly, who fared so well in yesterday's running here in Iowa. Too wide coming down into 3. The ECR cars on the move once again. Rasmussen and Rossi, who look as racy as they did yesterday. And there is O'Ward now putting the move on Daly. Up on the inside, can he? No, not quite, because Daly's going high on Will Power. I love this from Connor Daly, trying to take the bite right away. And that's just going to open it up for Pato to have a look as well.
There is nobody more comfortable at this racetrack in the high to quite high territory than Connor Daly. Sensational yesterday on the restarts. I thought he looked a little out of line, though, on the restart. I wonder if race control is going to look at that. It looked like he was not in column formation as Pato O'Ward, thanks to Aero, starts to lean back into his setup and try to make some work on Connor.
Kiffin Simpson getting the move on Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood, who crashed out of yesterday's race, a problem on his front right. And Daly getting racy once again with Will Power. It's a repeat of the battles that we saw on track yesterday. Absolutely wonderful.
This is Daly in a GHR machine who we're looking back at from the Verizon onboard of Power. He's got a Penske of Power in front of him. He's got the race winner of McLaren of O'Ward behind him, and he's stuck there in the middle. He's right up there with the big dogs, and he is aggressive. He's really trying to get that spot from Power.
Pato having a look. And Power has the look at Malucas. Inverse of what we saw at Gateway.
These two are fighting for the same job for next year. Power and Malucas side by side in turn 3, but Will Power really making it tough for Malucas, giving him just enough room to the high side.
And Lil Dave is not letting it go, tries to keep his foot stuck in, but Power has the shorter line, and now he has the position. It's a Penske 2-3, Newgarden third, Power is fourth, and Power once again is pushing like crazy and looking phenomenal.
The Penske 3-4 at the moment, still Palou and Rosenqvist up front. But this is interesting because Chevy had the number of the Hondas yesterday, as we see Newgarden now on the inside of Rosenqvist. Can he keep it stuck on the bottom? Keep his foot in it. Rosenqvist trying to keep the momentum up on the high side.
Newgarden, who felt so aggrieved yesterday to have lost out on the victory, which was his all the way through until those final stops. Just that in-lap from Newgarden ultimately costing him what would have been the first win of the season, and Power has a problem. Power's dropping right back.
Not sure if he got up into the gray or he has a powertrain issue. It looks to be no drive for the number 12 car.
Trying to get to the bottom here. Try to get to the bottom now. Get to the bottom. Get to the bottom.
And he does manage to get to the bottom. Everybody now firing around the outside of Will Power. What desperate luck once again for Team Penske. One driver out on the first lap. And Will Power, who looked so aggressive and so fighty out there on track, having an issue that brings him into pit lane. There is one fighter left in the mix, and that is Josef Newgarden, the king of corn country, the 6-time winner of this race, and he is desperate now to get onto the back of the championship leader Alex Palou and take back that which he naturally assumes to be his, the lead of this race. Well, as the only Penske on the lead lap continues to hunt down the leader, let's hear from one of their number taken out on the first lap.
Scott McLaughlin charged through the field to finish 4th yesterday. Another good car. You'd already moved up 4. Anything you could have done to avoid it? And then what's the emotion knowing you don't get the chance again?
Yeah, it sucks. I was really excited for today. The Gallagher Chevy was, going to be just as good. And I think I got caught up in someone else's accident. So there's only so much you can do to avoid. I think we nearly got him, and then he just sort of, there we go. Oh, yeah, I would have just got through and probably would have got through unscathed, but I clipped there, and unfortunately, yep, it is what it is. But I'll take, there's a couple of negatives this weekend, but we'll take a positive for yesterday and just charge through to Toronto.
Team IC is back there, so there's a chance they may try to repair that and score some points if possible. Thank you, Scott.
Deeply unlucky for him. I'll tell you what, as we settle into something of a groove here, one driver who is making moves and making up positions, Robert Schwartzman has made his way up to 9th place and is now on the rear wing of Scott Dixon. But this man as well, Santino Ferrucci, now trying to put a move on Rasmussen. It did look like they got together side by side on the run down there.
Side outside.
Two of the most aggressive and exciting drivers we've seen on this type of oval. The Firestone lettering wiped off of Rasmussen's front right left there after that contact. That was hair-raising.
Fighting over 16th place. Rasmussen holds on to 16th. Ferrucci down in 17th now. Ilott just ahead of them. We sit on board, though, with Josef Newgarden. That's the race leader ahead of us. And Palou managing just now to get a bit of breathing space, about 3/4 of a second, the gap. And guess what? Felix Rosenqvist isn't letting Newgarden go either.
And already Alex Palou has caught the tail end of the lead lap. That's Jacob Abel up ahead. So now Palou, for the first time in 30 laps, has some dirty air to contend with as we take a look at what just happened between Ferrucci and Rasmussen.
Ferrucci just steps out a tiny little bit on that low line, front right to front left.
And that's terrifying, guys, from inside the cockpit. Wheel-to-wheel contact in an open-wheel car at these speeds, that can end really poorly. Wow. Rasmussen doing a great job to hang on to it.
Somehow I feel like those two guys just don't get scared on short ovals.
Not as scared as they should, maybe, at times.
Well, there's Palou leading from Newgarden and Rosenqvist. Malucas hangs tight in 4th from Daly, and yesterday's winner, Pato O'Ward. That's your top 6. Moves being made throughout the field. back, and as is the way at short course ovals, we're into traffic. Alex Palou cutting his way through, and as he tried to make his way past Abel, allowed Newgarden right onto his rear wing. Newgarden unable to put the pass on, but as they've navigated the traffic, one driver who has been able to make a move is David Malucas, who has got past Felix Rosenqvist for third place. Sadly, two Penskes already out of this race. The second is that of Will Power.
And Will Power was definitely a race-winning contender. What was the issue that ended it?
Same as Mid-Ohio, it felt like. Some sort of engine failure, yeah.
Was the car, could you tell early the car was good enough to be a contender?
Oh, yeah, I mean, we just improved upon yesterday. Yes, felt like we would have had a great race. Obviously, you never know what can happen. Obviously, something did happen, but, man, pity. Pity, we keep giving away days so we have a car to win. Yeah, just have those seasons, I guess. You know, not much we can do.
Will Power did his part. He was racing this weekend. After 2, 3, 4, two of the Penskes are out today.
I mean, you talk about having no seasons. Team Penske hasn't had a season like this in a quarter of a century, guys. I mean, that's just an unbelievable run of bad luck, bad fortune, and poor results for a team that's just so used to dominate.
And I feel for him because he was looking fighty. Yesterday, a brilliant podium. Today, looking punchy once again. Newgarden starting to catch up once again to the back of Palou as Palou himself gets to the back of Rinus VeeKay.
Let's listen to a little bit of radio here from Joe New and just find out how punchy is the driver sitting in second right now.
Still got 3 cars messing around with that tight second lane. Not as good as it was, but they're still messing with it. Clear by 10.
So that's great information from the spotter there, Mike Ford, letting Josef Newgarden know as Newgarden clears Rinus VeeKay there that, hey, there's cars running that high lane. And why that's important, it lets Josef know the track's clean up there. You don't want to go up there as Connor Daly and Pato O'Ward just swap positions. So Pato O'Ward going forward, but you do not want to go high if nobody's been running there because the marbles from the tires, spent rubber will have accumulated offline. So great information from the spotter, critical around here.
Lap 50 coming up of 275. O'Ward chooses now to make his move on Connor Daly, move up into 5th spot and go hunting after Felix Rowe.
Actually, I think it was a little bit earlier, even more dramatic, the angle. So we'll hope that Stingray's all right.
Oh boy.
That did go around fast. Ooh. And then straight back. You don't get as much of the crumple. That's a peculiar one, T-Bell. I mean, usually that early in the corner to have it go that dramatically. On board with Rosenqvist as he looks at the 77 going off.
I'd like to take a look at the onboard again out the back. I agree with you. It was a very strange and abrupt hit.
And now everybody ducks into pit lane. Palou, Newgarden, Malucas, they're all jumping in. Kevin, down to you.
David Malucas started third. He's running third. He'll get Shell 100% renewable fuel and 4 Firestones. He said the car is good. I like what we had yesterday. Jack.
Josef Newgarden also very good at the start here. He started 4th, running 2nd. Didn't have the cleanest exit. You've seen all these cars funnel into the high lane. Georgia.
Palou came into this race with a 105-point championship point lead. He came in, got Shell fuel, tires, and a turn of front wing.
Palou leaves. Still in charge of this race from Newgarden and Malucas. But there was a close call between Ferrucci and Newgarden on pit lane. Very, very close. And also between Newgarden and Palou as they hit the limiter. join Fox's support of recovery efforts following the devastated floods in Texas. Your donation supports the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country's relief and rebuilding efforts. Please visit go.fox/TX Flood Relief or scan the QR code on your screen to support the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. And our thoughts and our prayers are with all families involved in those terrible scenes out in the great state of Texas. Jack Harvey, down on pit lane. What can you tell us, mate?
Only to elaborate on what we just saw on the screen, both of these AJ Foyt racing cars are carrying stickers to show their support for everyone who's suffering in Texas. Larry Foyt actually told me some of their friends have been directly impacted by this, and this is just their way of showing support. So we're going to send all of our best wishes and all of our best thoughts to everyone affected.
Thanks, Jack. Right. Back to the matter at hand here on track, and Alex Palou still leaves Josef Newgarden, David Malucas and Pato O'Ward. That is your top 4 after the stops. Maya Shank doing a great job with theirs to have Rosenqvist 5th and Armstrong 6th. Then Dixon, Daly, Rossi and Schwartzman complete your top 10. Now,
let's take a look here at the number 2 of Josef Newgarden. You see the 14 of Ferrucci having to hit the brakes to get into his pit box. Could be under, what it is under review right now, I'm assuming, T-Bell, for an unsafe release.
Well, what happened there is Newgarden, in order to get around Ferrucci's right rear that was placed out, he had to clutch the car. So that's why you saw Newgarden's car go and then momentarily stop. Listen here, he's going to clutch it.
You've got the white. Go.
So he's working
Was he saying wait?
He told him to wait. He started to go. He was told wait, paused, and then I think decided to go, and the team said go. It's going to be interesting to see if the team told him to go or if they'd said go after he just decided to gun it.
Yeah. Also, David Malucas having some issues in pit lane. Let's take a look back at this stop. Being reviewed also for an unsafe release. Service done, car sent, and right into, oh, that's Kyle Kirkwood.
Yeah, his indicator was coming from the outside front tire changer, giving him a very clear thumb point to send it.
And that's one of the big challenges when you're that outside front. You have to know who's around you in pit lane. You have to be looking down pit lane to assess if that car's coming close. It's a very tough thing to do in the heat of the moment in a yellow flag pit cycle.
And in the back of your head, you're thinking, if I hold this guy for 2 seconds, he's going to lose 6 spots on pit lane. So it's a very, very tough decision as we ride on board, thanks to Sukup. With 27 of Kyle Kirkwood. Been a tough weekend for this guy. 2 crashes, one coming right at the start of practice, the other with a blown right front tire in the race yesterday.
Now, here's the thing. Because those stops were made around lap 50, there is no way they're going to be able to make this on one more green flag stop. It is definitely now a minimum 3-stop race, which means we push to the flag.
Unfortunately, just getting news from race control that Schwartzman, running up in the top 10, got dinged for speeding on pit road. So a penalty coming for him. That is brutal here at a short track.
That's been the story of his year. Went running well on ovals. His pit lane issues at Indianapolis. Of course, the pole sitter was Schwartzman, and then getting into some crew members on his pit stop.
You see him dropping back to the back of the field there.
That is brutal for Robert Schwartzman, the pole sitter, of course, in Indianapolis 500. The rookie in the field this year comes across to America for his first season in the IndyCar Series. Has impressed so many people.
And since they're all going to be likely in full push mode, no fuel savings right now by way of that last pit stop, I think Josef Newgarden is going to waste no time or effort trying to get around Palou. He knows that he can go full bore to the end. It's going to take 2 more stops. I think you'll see him be very aggressive right now on fresh tires.
This is it. It's going to be foot flat and elbows out for the rest of this race. 64 of 275. It'll be 65 when we go past the line as Palou brings us back to green. It's Palou and Newgarden at the front, Malucas and O'Ward, Rosenqvist and Armstrong, Dixon, Daly, Rossi, Rahal. That's your top 10 as the championship leader does now put his foot down, does now take us to green as the Maya Shanks pop out, and so too does Scott Dixon, having a look up the inside of both Armstrong and of Rosenqvist. Our winner last time out in mid-Ohio, Dixon on the move, so too the ECR of Alexander Rossi.
Newgarden looks to be to the outside of Alex Palou, and there he goes. The move to the front. Newgarden grabs the lead back.
Beautiful from Josef Newgarden. The king of corn country retakes his rightful position at the front of the field. And how much now can he stretch his legs and run away and hide? We saw him lead beautifully yesterday. Seems to have the entire race under control, and he's back where he loves to be.
And a huge bit of relief for Josef Newgarden and David Malucas. No action on that last pit stop, so that the release is deemed to be safe.
Interesting. So Newgarden back out in front. Palou in second, not letting him get away. Malucas is third. O'Ward is fourth. Dennis Rosenquist. Then it's Dixon, and Daly has made his way past Armstrong as well.
To the high side there, Robert Schwartzman on Kyle Kirkwood, trying to make up those positions that he just had to give up under caution there. He's already made quick work of a few drivers, +3 since the restart, not wasting any time.
Wasting no time at all. Next on his list is going to be Rasmussen. And now Connor Daly wanting to take a lump out of Scott Dixon. This for 6th place. Daly so fighty yesterday, spent so much of the race in the podium positions, goes to the outside of Scott Dixon, takes that high line, keeps his foot planted. Dixon will have to yield. Daly will take the position and is up to 6th.
Utterly fearless is Connor Daly here in Iowa. Yesterday, today, getting it done. Georgia, what can you tell us about Dixon?
Well, I can tell you that I talked to Dixon right before he hopped in his car, and he told me they threw the kitchen sink at this car yesterday. He didn't feel confident enough to use that high line, so he's dealing with the car with a lot of changes. The goal ultimately to get to that high line, but as you saw, Daly passing Dixon right around on that top line, so he may not be as comfortable as he wants to be up there.
Palou, talking about drivers who look comfortable right now, looks very, very comfortable.
But he's not comfortable enough to kind of peek up to that higher lane. Newgarden taking it by choice out front, leaving Palou that low lane through 1 and 2, but in, or sorry, 3 and 4, but in 1 and 2, look. Palou's just staying glued to the bottom. Josef running about a half car width up. That's what's allowing Palou to stay so close to the number 2.
It's probably also allowing Josef Newgarden to not use as much tire down at that end. He's doing the same in 3 and 4, staying about half a car width off the apex, creating a bigger radius through the corner, thus less demand on the tires. So he's in it for the distance. Newgarden thinking long term, making these tires last the full spin.
Malucas doing a great job as well, hanging on there to P3. We know he likes this type of racetrack, but yesterday was a bit of a muted performance from him. Came home 12th, was sort of there or thereabouts, but never really in the conversation for a top 5 or for a podium. But right now, he is taking the fight to 2 of the best in the business.
Speaking of fighting, these guys will going at it again.
Absolutely. Rasmussen on to the back of Santino Ferrucci. Behind them, it's Marcus Ericsson and Robert Schwartzman, who is putting up a fight to make back the places he lost. He was sitting very comfortably in the top 10, and Schwartzman does move to the inside of Marcus Ericsson. You see in the back of your screen, Ericsson trying to hold on, and Schwartzman has to tuck back in behind him as we look back from the Sexton Properties car of Santino Ferrucci. And now Alex Palou has to contend not just with Josef Newgarden ahead of him, but with his mirrors full of David Malucas behind.
And guys, these Prema cars are hooked up right now. Since that restart, Schwartzman's up 4, but Callum Eilert up 6 as well, as Rasmussen gets it done on Ferrucci.
Ferrucci seems to be struggling today. He's been dropping positions. He doesn't look happy with the balance. But somebody who's been very happy with his balance is rookie Robert Schwartzman. Kevin.
And he was not really happy yesterday. He said the car was really bad and we made a lot of changes, and he had no idea how it was going to go. And that first inning, he said the car is really good. He was as high as 9th before the drive-through penalty, so he's already picked up 5 more spots charging back through the field. Both he and Eilert feel good today.
And this is the thing for Robert Schwartzman, his rookie year in the IndyCar Series. The learnings that he takes from one weekend, invariably you can't take into the next weekend. It's a different type of circuit. We've moved from a street race to a road race to an oval. Here this weekend, he can immediately put the learnings from one race to good effect in the next. If there's one thing I know about Robert Schwartzman, not only is he fast, not only is he fearless, he is incredibly smart and will make best use of those lessons immediately. He's on the move, punching up and trying to get those positions back from that restart. We pull back to the front to Josef Newgarden leading Palou by under half a second. David Malucas about a half a second behind them. O'Ward still sits in fourth from Rosenquist and Daly, your top 6 as things stand, running lap 82 at 275.
And guys, these cars up front are very evenly matched. Josef Newgarden's running fast pace out front, but he's not pulling away from the 10 of Palou. Palou's doing a great job keeping up. So is Malucas. They've got a tiny gap back to O'Ward right now. But again, you have still a lot of this race, just under 200 laps, to keep tuning on that car, keep working on it, both with the tools inside the cockpit and from the pit stops with changes that they can make, both to wings and tire pressures.
But Newgarden leads, just as he did yesterday, having pulled off a beautiful move on the championship leader to take back his position in P1. Something to look forward to in the days ahead, because on Tuesday it's the Midsummer Classic as Judge Shohei and baseball's biggest stars head to Atlanta for the MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Fox. Back running lap 94 of 275. Josef Newgarden now leads into lap 95 from Palou, and the gap has extended to 1.3 as they navigate traffic here at the Iowa Speedway. Malucas still keeping Palou very much in check ahead of Pato O'Ward, Felix Rosenquist, and behind them Connor Daly, Scott Dixon, Marcus Armstrong, Alexander Rossi, and Colton Herter jumping up now to complete the top 10.
So Josef Newgarden in the top 5 cars already got past Jacob Abel. Now Newgarden looks to put Rinus VK, Abel's teammate with Dale Coyne Racing, a lap down. But further up the road, it gets harder and harder to make these moves because you come across faster and faster cars, and deeper into the tire stint, Newgarden has fewer options to get by. So the opportunity for Palou to sort of outmaneuver and out-chess play Newgarden during traffic. It's a bit like a sports car race in this phase right now.
But this is what Josef is so good at, Townsend, and we saw that gap was 0.3 of a second when they were running in clean air. Once they hit the tail end of the lead lap, Josef just so lethal at getting through that traffic quickly and cleanly. Now 1.25 seconds the gap between first and second.
Like a knife through butter. And if you thought his car was good yesterday, bear in mind that overnight they've been able to ring the changes, make it even better than that. So too, though, does everybody else. And with the truncated schedule that we had because of the storm on Friday, yesterday was so jam-packed. A much reduced, much shortened practice session meant that everybody went into qualifying and then the race without as much information as they would normally have to set up their cars. That race yesterday, all 275 laps of him, gives them the information that they needed to improve their cars from today and really kind of level out the field.
Watch Josef Newgarden right here, exactly what his teammate Scott McLaughlin was doing yesterday in 3 and 4, just kind of sliding and letting that car fade high mid-corner to get the clean air, stay flat, and he now dumps Kyffin Simpson to go a lap down.
3 places up for Josef Newgarden to lead this race, just as he did yesterday. Jack Harvey, tell us about the job that Josef's doing today.
Oh, he's doing a brilliant job, Will. I managed to talk to Luke Mason, who's his strategist and also his race engineer, and they were so happy and relieved to see how many different lines Josef can drive right now. And you're seeing it because he's carving through these lapped cars like no one else is able to. So a lot of positivity coming from the two right now. Georgia.
Well, the only piece of advice that the team has given Alex Palou is to remember your tools and watch your tires. But other than that, it is calm, cool, and collected. I just got the thumbs up from crew chief Ricky Davis. So they're going to try to make up that spot on Newgarden eventually. But all things going well for Alex Palou, the championship points leader right now.
David Malucas in that number 4 car for AJ Foyt is keeping pace with Newgarden and Palou, and in fact is pulling away from yesterday's winner Pato Award. Remember, AJ Foyt Racing is one of only 2 teams that did not test here, so they did a lot of learning during the race. Now, in fairness, what they also have is that technical partnership with Team Penske. That has helped, but Malucas feels a lot more racy now as he tries to deal with the lap car of Kyffin Simpson.
Deal with him he does, and makes his way through to chase back after Alex Palou.
And you know, it's such a good point, Townsend. And how many times in your career do you wish after the end of a race, with everything that you went through, everything that you learned, you wish you could make a couple changes and go right back out and do it again? And that's what these teams have had the opportunity to do. Conditions a little bit better, a little bit different, I should say, today. Track temperature a little bit hotter, but especially for the teams that didn't test with that truncated practice, having 275 laps of running around here, you can come up with all sorts of stuff to do to these cars to make them better.
Sometimes better, sometimes worse. I think if you look at the case of David Malucas, clearly better overnight. How about Felix Rosenqvist? His race pace looks a lot stronger. On the other side, Santino Ferrucci struggling to find performance from yesterday. Maybe Christian Rasmussen not showing the same sort of fierce moves that he had in the race. So those changes can go either way, good or bad.
Daly makes it past Abel. So he starts to cut through the traffic. And guys, when we look at the car of Josef Newgarden, when we look at how he is just slicing his way through the field, how much of this is purpose? How much of this is angry Josef? The guy who had the win in his hands yesterday, but ultimately didn't take it. The guy who has had such a frustrating season, and we've seen that not just in the results that he's had, but the way he's had to carry himself this year as well. It's not the Josef Newgarden that we're used to. Is this a guy with his head down, driving with purpose, or is this a guy driving to try and show something, try and prove something?
I've never seen him drive any way different here at Iowa. It's always been fierce, determined, and dominant, frankly. Well over 2,000 laps led at this place by now. We talked about it yesterday. That's more than every other driver combined by a lot. So Newgarden just connects with this racetrack in a way that maybe transcends technique. It's spiritual here for him. But today he's got to make up for the deficiency, which was not on pit lane, not on the racetrack. It was his in-lap on green flag pit stops. That's where he can improve. That's where he lost out to Pato Award.
Scott Dixon, Citizen Radio.
Copy. Control that late. Move on now. Corner there, man. Knows you're there. He'll do it again. We've sent it in.
So Scott complaining a late move from Connor Daly. I'm not sure exactly when that was. Daly now 3 seconds ahead of him on the track as Newgarden cuts his way through Santino Ferrucci. And this is an absolute masterclass from Josef Newgarden today, just cutting through the field with ease. It's beautiful.
And Palou's doing a very respectful job as well, a respectable job doing the same thing, because again, you're going up against the best by far that's ever done it around here at Iowa. He's doing a great job keeping up. And look, he got his first oval win of his career out of the way earlier this year at the Oval, Indianapolis. But how much of an exclamation point would it be if you could not just win on a short oval, but win at this place in a straight-up fight against Josef Newgarden, who's got 6 wins here and should be probably closer to 8 if you look at some of the past results.
Here comes Newgarden past Lundgaard. And as he's, the thing for me with all of this as he cuts through the traffic is he's not losing time. He's gaining time with every pass he makes, and as even the great Alex Palou gets caught up behind people, look at that, he's extended it to 2.5 seconds as Malucas keeps Palou in check. But Kevin, some worries potentially down there for Malucas?
Well, remember yesterday, we never really got a full fuel entire run as he now goes after Alex Palou, and he's doing this saying, I've got a vibration, I want to pit as soon as possible. He's trying to hang out for another 10 laps or so, but Malucas is still on the charge.
He is indeed, Kevin, and he may have a vibration, he may have troubles out there on track, but he's giving Alex Palou troubles out there on the racetrack as well. A beautiful drive from Malucas right now, and Alex Palou is under pressure.
One of the things from inside the cockpit is when you feel a vibration or you feel the tires go off, you can get on the radio screaming, he's got another run, not quite there.
I thought Palou was going to get into the wall there at the exit of turn 2. He got way high, and I think up in that dirty gray section, and now Malucas is coming.
Now he's got him, now he's got the advantage. He's up on the inside, and that shows how hard Malucas was pushing Palou, that he got up that high, that he made that mistake. And this is a driver who we know doesn't often make those mistakes and will not give the position up. Has to go round high, has to go round long. Malucas, though, will have the inside line, will have the lower line, and this is wonderful. Side by side and wheel to wheel between the wily championship leader, the multiple champion Alex Palou, and the up-and-comer and David Malucas, who ultimately has to yield behind him. But what a wonderful exhibition.
And what's helping Palou so much right now is that car right there of Marcus Ericsson. In the corners, he was on the bottom. That's where Malucas was running, taking air and downforce away from him. But then on the straight, he was up in line with Palou, giving Palou the advantage on the straight. But that running side by side, guys, it's not a fast way around the racetrack. And look how much further ahead Newgarden has pulled himself.
It's given Josef Newgarden an additional second. That is his bumper right now. 3.5 over Alex Palou and David Malucas. We're back at Iowa. Sorry, excuse the confusion, but Josef Newgarden's just rolled the dice, and it's come up snake eyes. Decided to take the early stop, came in, and just as he did, Marcus Ericsson crashes coming out of turn 4, bringing out the full course caution. There's Newgarden going in. There's Ericsson going high.
Looks eerily similar to Kirkwood yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's listen. Listen for the floor. Yeah, that's something went wrong there.
You can see a skid mark coming off, so maybe a right rear tire failure, just like his teammate Kirkwood had happened to him yesterday down at the other end of the racetrack.
You could play that audio of Kirkwood's accident yesterday. Almost identical.
Yeah, you can see some feathering right here on the inside shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Of that right front tire. So it looks like two right fronts for the Andretti squad.
But guys, from a strategy perspective now, when we look at the race and how this is going to play out, Newgarden rolled the dice. He's now a lap down.
Yes, so that worked out about as poorly as it could have for Newgarden. What'll happen now is the leaders will come in, they will pit. He will get that lap back. He'll get the wave around, but he'll be at the tail end of the lead lap. And it's now going to be the race on pit lane when pit lane opens. But we still have 143 laps in this race. Newgarden can drive his way to the front.
Yeah, I don't think he should be worried about too much. He's been able to absolutely chop up just about anybody at any time.
To take away the Delaware Life car of Marcus Ericsson. No top 5s yet this season. It's the worst start to a season that he's had in his NTT INDYCAR Series career. Hugely frustrating and disappointing. This weekend as a whole, really, for Andretti is one to really roll up, throw in the trash, and now they come in to pit lane. Kevin Lee is waiting for them.
David Malucas running second will get there first. He needed shell fuel within a couple of laps, and he's been complaining about a vibration. So the car's been all over the place. So good timing for the stop. Wants no changes. Jack.
The 5 of Pato O'Ward are renowned for being some of the fastest guys and girls on pit lane, and on these yellow stops it puts so much pressure under this crew. One change of front wing there. Georgia, what's happening where you are?
Alex Palou wants no changes to that car. It was tires and fuel and just a tear-off ball. He's already down and away.
I tell you what though, it was tight. David Malucas very nearly got alongside and passed him in pit lane. A brilliant job from the AJ Foyt crew to get him serviced and sent on his way so quickly. We very nearly had a change of leadership in the pits. Welcome back to Iowa. Let's take a look at the Dallara cutaway car, guys, and an important part of the race.
Well, look, one of the things we talk a lot about in pit stops is adding or taking away front wing. That's something that the mechanics at the front of the car turn that T-handle and they move that upper flap up and down. When it's laid down like that, that's less front downforce. As you crank it in, you turn it clockwise, it raises that up. That puts more downforce on the front of the car. You do that, Townsend, if you're struggling with front grip, you need it a little sharper, a little stronger turn in. Likewise, if you're a bit loose, you take it out, lean it down, take some front grip away.
But those front tire changers have to make the wing change, and it is tough to get that T-handle turn in. As we take a look at the 7 of Christian Lundgaard, that right front tire changer is taking downforce out there, going counterclockwise, then has to hold the driver. Brilliantly choreographed. That's a lot of pressure when it counts.
Onto the back stretch. Alex Palou back in a familiar position for him today, leading this field after Josef Newgarden and the number 2 crew took the gamble, and it didn't pay off. Newgarden will restart down in 13th place, having stopped again to top up on field. Palou takes us back to green from Malucas, O'Ward, Rosenquist, Daly and Armstrong, and immediately 2-3 wide, and the ECR's making moves.
4 wide almost further back, now 3 as we see those Prema cars going high, making moves.
How about Connor Daly sending it once again to the back of Felix Rosenquist with huge momentum. Look for Daly, looks inside now. Great job again on the restart.
Has the toe and has the advantage. Lovely stuff from Connor Daly. He is enjoying this weekend and this race so very much as Colton Herta has a look at the back of Scott Dixon. We ride on board with Felix Rosenquist, just passed by Connor Daly, who sits ahead of us. Ahead of him is O'Ward, ahead of him is Malucas, and Palou then leading the race. And we had that wonderful battle between Palou and Malucas just before the pit stop started to shake out. And there is Colton Herta into the wall and into the back of the ECR of Alexander Rossi.
Great save from both drivers as now Rasmussen trying to get the advantage from that checkup on the 26. Huge vibration left front is the call. I believe that's Colton Herta's radio.
Yeah, that is not good from a team that's had 2 seemingly tire failures already. So that's nervous stuff for Colton Herta. And how about Alexander Rossi? Must have been like, where did that come from? It's like a meteor attack.
There's Herta high. There's Herta too high. And there's Herta into the back of Rossi, who does so well to hang on to it, all arms and elbows.
Too high, or was he squeezed up there? Rossi checking up. I think Rossi got a bunch of understeer coming off of 2, had to crack the throttle, and that caused Colton to have this big closing speed.
And that's where the vibration come from for Colton Herta. Amazing that he's able to continue and seemingly with pretty good pace. As here comes Josef Newgarden.
Yeah, Rasmussen's got past him in the mix, and we now sit back on board with the man who was leading until the failed gamble. Jack, tell us about Josef.
Well, I managed to catch up with his engineer, Luke Mason, again, and said, that was a pretty surprising move. What happened? And he said, we had to pit for fuel. That wasn't a, wild card that we were trying to play. We didn't even really want to have to do that. That was a necessity stop. However, he did tell me, if he thought Josef was good, he's really going to put on a show now.
Wow. Did they short fuel on the first stop? Did they not get as much as they needed in? Well, either way, Newgarden had to pull the pin when he did, trying to now get around Colton Herta with that vibration on his tires. And an ominous warning from his pit stand if we thought he was good at the start of this race.
Meanwhile, a penalty coming for Callum Eilon, who's been doing a great job on that restart, but too good of a job in terms of popping out early. He'll get a drive-through for not being in line in column formation. So a tough break for Prema's number 90, Callum Eilon.
These your leaders then. It's now Palou from Malucas. Half a second the gap between them. O'Ward another 1 second behind the duo, who were mixing it up on track just a few short moments ago. And what a turnaround from yesterday. Yesterday was all about Chevy. Now it's Alex Palou. Lead Honda as he was yesterday, but really doing a nice job out there. It's Chevy 2, 3, 4. Then it is Honda. Now, though, Newgarden puts that move on Colton Herta, makes up 1 position as he fights and scraps his way back up into the top 10. Well, it's another Andretti retirement today, seemingly from what looked like a failed tire. What can Marcus Ericsson tell us?
Yeah, we wondered what happened. You can tell us more definitively what put you out, Marcus.
Yeah, it was the right front. So like the 27 yesterday, so unfortunate.
Is there anything a driver can do in those circumstances? Are you monitoring tire temps, or does it just go without any warning?
No, the problem is you don't really feel anything, you know. It's just driving as normal, and then it happens. So all I can do is brace and hope the impact is not too bad. So luckily I get around a little bit through the corner, so it wasn't too bad. You can sort of skip along, but obviously, yeah, a DNF is not what we need right now, so it's very frustrating.
Thank you.
Big question marks now, guys, over fuel mileage. For Josef Newgarden, that was what, 70 laps? Are we thinking that's our range?
Seems unlikely. I mean, we had some yellow right off the start, so it's, you know, you normally get a couple extra laps from that anyway. We were predicting closer to 90.
It was 82 by my calculations was Newgarden. Then he did the top up there, but he was leading the whole time and carving through the field. So we'll have to see what Alex Palou does, because he's leading so far for most or all of this stint. But almost certainly everybody's going to have to stop one more time. The question is when.
Sirius XM on board of Felix Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist doing a great job right now. He is up in P5. As well as his teammate Marcus Armstrong right behind him in 6. Armstrong, I think, running off the back of 5 consecutive top 10 finishes. You know, we spoke to him before the weekend and he's like, yeah, it's good, but I need podiums. I need to be fighting for wins. I need that pop performance. I need a little bit more speed. But if you keep running like this and putting yourself in position, eventually you're going to catch those breaks and get that strong result.
And talk about a strong result. 4 drivers in this top 6 have never won on an oval. Malucas, Daly, Rosenqvist and Armstrong. For Malucas or Daly, it would be their first wins in this series. Josef Newgarden, radio.
All right, 10 back, 21 in front of it. We'll run you down if you're on the inside of it, and you'll run your ass up the track on exit of 2 and 4, so just be ready.
Rasmussen getting himself a little bit of a reputation. He says he makes a move on his teammate Rossi right in front. That's going to check him up. Not enough for Newgarden to get a run here, but the teammates from ECR now going to battle.
Rasmussen 9th, Rossi 8th, but for how long? Side by side.
Oh, and
so
a wiggle.
Close.
Here comes Newgarden. This will be the easiest way for him to clear Christian Rasmussen. Maybe, maybe not.
Oh, he did run him down. That was good advice from the spotter of the 2 car. Rasmussen now trying to make the fight back. He was loose on the entry, or no, Rossi was loose on the entry to turn 1 last time by. Then mid-corner, Rasmussen got loose. Teammates giving each other almost no room.
And Rasmussen giving Newgarden no room. This all the battle over 8th place. The 2 ECR cars sit 8th and 9th. Newgarden sits 10th, trying to find his way through, trying to fight back to the front, but to do so, he's going to have to get past 2 of the fastest and most exciting cars out there today. Palou leads 1.5 seconds from Malucas. This, the onboard of Newgarden, as he attempted to take both of the ECRs ahead, and look at that. Welcome back to NTT INDYCAR Series Racing from Iowa Speedway, live on Fox, where Josef Newgarden, who we sit on board with now, still trying to make his way back through the top 10 and up to a position where he can hope or dream to fight for the victory once again, because it's Alex Palou out at the front of the field from David Malucas and Pato O'Ward. Josef Newgarden was the leader of this race, but had to pit early to take on fuel. When he did so, Marcus Ericsson crashed out of the race, meaning that Newgarden lost all of that position, all of that hard work undone, fell back through the field, and we've got a crash. We've got yellows out, and that's quite a big one. I think it's a Prema. Out of Ilott again.
That was right in front of Alex Palou, our race leader. He was running in the wheel tracks of the 90.
Real shame for Ilott. That's 2 in a row now for the man from Cambridge in the UK.
And if you look, lap 177, when the pits open here, I think you got to think long and hard about maybe a gamble as some teams start to lay out on pit lane. Let's take a look at what happened to Callum Ilott.
Sends it in and loses the rear. Oh, that's big.
Very much like what we saw from Stingray, similar to Siegel yesterday.
Luckily, though, looks like more of a glancing blow.
I have to laugh because if you've ever felt a glancing blow like that, you would think you were just dropped off the 14th story of a parking garage.
It's a shockingly accurate description of what it feels like to back into one of these walls in an IndyCar. Yeah, that one a much kind of more typical, I think, losing of the rear. Not as fast and sudden as what we saw at a Stingray earlier, but just unable to catch it, and luckily Palou was far enough back to not get caught up in it.
Townsend, we were just talking about how far a tank of fuel will go in this race. Yesterday we were looking at 100 laps, pretty much across the board, could easily be done. Today, to your math, 80 for Josef Newgarden, 82 maybe, 85. Do you gamble now and try and make 100 out of it?
Well, it makes me wonder, did they get all the fuel in for Josef Newgarden that led to him having to pit maybe a little bit early? But an answer I see right now is a lot of people, including race leader Alex Palou, their crew laid out on pit lane, so they all think this is the time to come. The longer this yellow lasts here before the pits open, the better chance you have to make it to the end. And one thing's for sure, guys, these yellows are happening late in stints. Callum Ilott, Marcus Ericsson with the tire issue. So it doesn't seem like we're getting pure green flag running at any point this weekend for all 100 or 90 laps at a time.
Well, maybe we can listen into some radio from Josef Newgarden and hear what they're thinking.
So everyone's going to take this. It's right on the edge of the window here.
Yeah, I still don't like that. But I hear you. No one's been safe in this whole race, it doesn't look like.
Okay. So it's going to be 95 to go.
Now remember,
it's going to be so close.
Newgarden topped up during the last yellow. So, in theory, there's a little less fuel to plug into his race car. So Team Penske, if they're fast on the guns like they always are, they can make up positions for Josef Newgarden just by virtue of a slower fill time.
And look, this is the crew of Palou, and they are P1 in pit lane, which has an advantage of a nice clear out. But this curved pit lane at Iowa, this is a challenge. That outside front tire changer does not have the sight line around the corner to know when Palou's coming. That car comes into view, and you've quickly got to jump into action. It's a little bit of a unique situation here at Iowa, not something that, say, Scott Dixon's crew has to worry about.
A bit of a problem. It looks like the nose cone of Ilott's car has fallen off on pit in. Kevin, what can you tell us about the strategy?
They're still debating on the AJ Foyt team. James Schnabel is asking David Malucas his philosophy. They were planning on making it a 70-lap stint, so they were going to come in another 10 laps or so anyway. So they're thinking, if you want to stay out, we can run hard. Maybe you have to, obviously have to do another stop. It's not a lock you can get home from here. There probably would need to be another caution unless this yellow extends a long time.
Wow. Well, it's getting needly.
But if everyone's in the same boat, you push hard now and you have to come in for a splash at some point. So it's not it's not a game-ending decision if you come in now and you don't get that yellow, because I think everyone's in the same boat.
I think they're going to be okay. I think it's going to be 90 laps or less of green flag running to the end. I think they'll be able to stretch it. Certainly everybody will be managing their fuel as such. You're not going to want to pit under green for a splash at the end.
Pit lane is open next time round. Wait and see everybody jump in. And as the guys were saying, Josef Newgarden didn't lose the lead yesterday because his pit crew let him down. They actually had a faster stop than Pato O'Ward. And if he has more fuel in his tank, will he be able to make a shorter stop than everybody else and make up a few positions? And now the field bunch in, and now they jump. Palou, Malucas, O'Ward. We head down to Kevin Lee.
The call for David Malucas was follow the leader. If Palou would have stayed out, I think he would have. But now it is a stop, and it might be for the Chevys a little harder to get home from here. Jack.
So O'Ward has to come around Felix Rosenqvist. Stops perfectly on his marks. It's new tyres, tear-offs. The number 5 of Power O'Ward. Just a slight drop, Georgia.
No changes for Alex Palou, but as fuel and tires for him, and he's going to lead the field off pit lane in front of Malucas.
Josef Newgarden has made up a ton of positions. Connor Daly will be up to 3rd place as well. As the order shakes out, as they leave pit lane, it's Palou, Malucas, Daly, O'Ward. Then I think that's Marcus Armstrong, Scott Dixon, and Josef Newgarden. Welcome back to Iowa. Next Sunday on Fox, the IndyCar Series hits the streets of Toronto for the Ontario Honda dealers Indy Toronto at noon Eastern, only on Fox. Back here though at Iowa Speedway, Kyle Kirkwood leads the field. He last pitted on lap 138, which means he's got about 45 laps of fuel done, which means he will stay out possibly for about another 40. when we go back to green. Behind him is Alex Palou and David Malucas. Connor Daly made up a spot in those stops. O'Ward lost a position in those stops, but the big winner was Josef Newgarden, up 3 positions on where he came in. The safety car pulls in though, and it'll be up to Kyle Kirkwood to run the field back to green. The 2 leaders of the race now, first and second, Kirkwood and Palou, were up until mid-Ohio the only 2 race winners in the field in 2025. They were until yesterday. 1 and 2 in the championship. We go back to green, and Malucas already over the back of Alex Palou, looking up the inside of the race leader, or who was the race leader, but Palou keeps his foot stuck in and takes the offensive now to Kyle Kirkwood. Palou wants to get it done immediately around the outside of his championship rival, but Kirkwood keeps it stuck in and will run him high. Palou, though, will not let it go, as he didn't do with Malucas, as he hasn't done now with Kirkwood. These 2 rivals going wheel to wheel, corner by corner, and still Kirkwood fights with Alex Palou, and still Kyle Kirkwood keeps to the inside, and still Kyle Kirkwood keeps the advantage, and now Palou's coming for him around the outside, and will have the pace, and should have the position if Kirkwood yields. But he won't, and Kirkwood remains with him, but now Palou does indeed retake the lead of this race, and Malucas looking to take advantage of Kirkwood losing his pace and having a check up, and Malucas sweeps through into second.
That's new tires versus old tires, guys. Those that pitted have such an advantage with fresh Firestones. We see Ferrucci and the 26 of Herta side by side.
Back on board with Santino Ferrucci. Has to pull in now behind the car of Colton Herta. Herta will have been glad to get rid of those tyres as now Daly gets his way past Kyle Kirkwood, who is dropping, as you guys said, on those older tyres.
Here comes Newgarden.
Newgarden going for the move as well.
Up to 5th. Should be, oh, he had to check up big time. Pato O'Ward gonna pass Joe New, so that was really unfortunate for Josef Newgarden to have that big checkup with Kirkwood. I thought Newgarden was going to be flying to the front, but it's a struggle right now.
Newgarden had a great restart. He was up 3 positions before he just lost one back to O'Ward, but that was all on that first lap. Really good jump from the green.
We're hearing that Scott Dixon may have some damage, and it's this moment here. Contact, oh yes, between him and his countryman Marcus Armstrong.
Off of 2, Dixon gets the good run. Oh. Yeah, that was just not really leaving enough room from Armstrong. That's going to be
former teammates, Marcus Armstrong and Scott Dixon, and now you see the front wing with a ton of flex.
Technical partnership between MSR and Chip Ganassi Racing still exists. These guys sit in an engineering debrief together still.
Is that technical partnership or a partnership technically, but not in principle?
I think now there may be a different look at it. Palou still leads, but as it has been for so much of this race, less than half a second splits Alex Palou, 3-time IndyCar champion, on an absolute tear and a record-breaking run in 2025 from David Malucas, the coming man with AJ Foyt Racing. So much talk about his future, so much talk about his clear promise and potential in this championship. Is today to be his red letter day? Could he take an incredible first victory on the fastest short track on the planet?
These guys are not driving, James, like they expect to go the distance. 176 miles an hour last lap for Alex Palou. That's qualifying pace. So some questions starting to rise now in terms of, are they going to have to make another stop? Is it going to be a splash, or are they good?
Whether it's a fuel issue, maybe it's a tire issue. The tire's degging maybe a bit more than we originally thought. Team's not able, maybe not willing to push it all the way to 90 laps, because you're right, this is a huge amount of speed that they're running up front, Georgia.
As of right now, I just checked in with Barry Wands and I asked him, can you make it on tires and fuel? And he looked at me and said, I think so. So Alex Palou could have made his last stop of the day. They think he can make it. Kevin.
Georgia, there's a concern with some about fuel, but I'm hearing more tires at this point too. Can they last? I think that's one reason why people were splitting it up into 70-some lap stints. So that's the issue. This one may not be over till the end. Who can manage the Firestones the best might come out on top.
You know what? I'm loving the way that David Malucas is approaching this race today. He didn't have the car underneath him yesterday. Well, it seemed his teammate Santino Ferrucci did. Today, the polar opposite. The pace appears to have left Santino Ferrucci, and it's all in the hands of David Malucas. He's been tracking Palou corner after corner for almost this entire race. He's taken him wheel to wheel as we now get a replay of Ferrucci putting the moves on, and actually making contact with the front left wheel of Colton Herta, who is ever so lucky to avoid going up and into the wall.
On board here with Santino Ferrucci, thanks to Sexton Properties. He goes to the low side, and Colt just kind of turns into the right rear of Ferrucci. I don't know if that was a timing issue or Ferrucci just drove in a little bit deeper than normal. But back up front, guys, it's going to start to get tough for Alex Palou as here comes Malucas.
And Malucas has a look up the inside now. He's been shadowing him for almost the entirety of this race. They have gone wheel to wheel and side by side. Malucas has tried to put the move on him on a number of occasions, but Palou has just been wise to it. But now they're coming up to the lap traffic. Now they're coming up to Abel, and ahead of him to Louis Foster. How does Palou navigate this traffic, and can Malucas take advantage? If Palou checks up, if Palou has a struggle getting through, but he's through and past Jacob Abel with ease, Malucas will hope to do the same.
The key right now for David Malucas is not get frustrated. He's had two really good opportunities to take a stab at getting around Palou. Neither one of them have really transpired, but we still have a long way to go in this race. As they get into this lap traffic, those opportunities are going to present themselves. You don't want to try to force the issue when it's not ready to happen and end up in the wall.
But a huge sigh of relief if I'm David Malucas or Connor Daly. If that was the last pit stop, what a tremendous job from the smaller teams of AJ Foyt Racing and Hugo's Hollinger to not just match, but make up some spots for their drivers. For Connor Daly to get through that final stop, a huge benefit. The team's doing a great job for their drivers.
As Palou ducks out from behind Louis Foster, that looked more like a road course pass than something you'd see on an oval. Palou starting to stretch his legs from Malucas, but we have two drivers in the top three capable of winning this race who have never won an IndyCar race. Welcome back to Iowa, where we have had a change in position for the podium places. Josef Newgarden, wouldn't you know it, back up there and fighting past Connor Daly just a few moments ago. Newgarden's pace unrelenting up at the 174-mile-an-hour mark. Daly fell down to 169, 170 over the last couple of laps, but Josef Newgarden is pushing with all he's got. The only driver at the moment holding that same pace as him, Alex Palou, both of them on 175-mile-an-hour laps. Pato O'Ward now pulling up to the back of Connor Daly. Daly's pace just appears to have deserted him. Perhaps he pushed too hard too soon on those tires. But a man who was looking potentially not just at a podium but for fighting for his first win, struggling to hang on as it stands, is Connor Daly.
Great opportunity for Josef Newgarden right now with a bit of clean air to really close that gap on Alex Palou and David Malucas. One car to clear right now. I think that's Graham Rahal just ahead of Newgarden. It is. But look at that, now under 5 seconds the gap and closing. Look at the hay that Newgarden's making here in Core Country.
2 to 3 tenths of a second a lap faster than Palou over the last few. That was a 5.5 second gap when he cleared Daly. It's down to 4.8. Newgarden is coming.
And Newgarden's all over the back of Rahal, cuts to the inside, takes him with ease down there into turn one to go chasing once again after David Malucas, who has dropped a little bit in comparison to Alex Palou, but he's still within a second. Newgarden, though, is pulling back time every corner of every lap. It was a 5 second gap. It's now 4.5 as O'Ward gets past Daly for fourth.
Yeah, big chunks of time going to drop right now here as Palou sort of trapped with Rinus VeeKay just up ahead. And they'll probably tell Palou that Newgarden's coming on the radio. And that's code to the driver. Hey, you might start thinking about carving through the field again. And Alex Palou just that. Gets closer to VeeKay but can't make the move.
And this has been the difference all day, where Josef Newgarden was able to scythe through the field. Palou has taken far longer. He's ended up losing time cutting his way through the field, whereas Josef Newgarden somehow was able to make time carving his way through the field. What sits ahead of Josef Newgarden right now? Clear track as he cuts it down to 3.5 seconds.
But don't forget, Newgarden is going to catch these cars too, and he's going to have to get through them as well. Right now, he's got plenty of clear track to lay down these fast laps. The question is, can he get through this traffic more efficiently than what the 4 and the 10 have been able to do?
He's demonstrated it all day long, but now quite a few laps on the tires with 45 laps to go, about half stint on these Firestones for the leaders. So how good can Newgarden be here? How bold, how brave, how risky will he make it?
And you know what? I don't think it's just going to be Josef Newgarden in this fight either. Palou's pace has dropped to the 170s, Malucas to the 160s as he fights his way through traffic. Newgarden in the 174s, cuts down to 2 seconds is the gap, but so too Pato O'Ward, who out of the top 4 now is the fastest driver on track. Pato with dreams of doubling up from his win yesterday.
Oh, Palou trying to go to the inside there on Rosenqvist and backs out. This is going to give a chance to close the gap to under a second, and now he's in the same view.
In the same picture, in the same queue. There is Palou. Behind him is the car of VeeKay. Then it is Malucas who makes the move now. But there is the red and white car of Josef Newgarden, who is very much in the fight. Back once again, despite falling back, despite taking that gamble and it not paying off. That is the undeniable pace today. In fact, of this entire weekend and his whole history on this track of Josef Newgarden. 6 times a winner here. You can never count him out.
And the disadvantage that Alex Palou has right now is he's the first guy up to all these lap cars. He's got to make that room. Once he gets alongside, he creates an opportunity. Those lap cars usually will have to lift.
Newgarden goes for it, puts the move on Malucas, and that's second place for Josef Newgarden. What an astonishing fight back. Now within a second of the race lead. What a drive. What a day. 39 to go at Iowa, and Josef Newgarden is coming for Alex Palou.
Boy, Newgarden making the high line work really well for clean air in 3 and 4. It is so risky up there with the debris of the tires, but he doesn't care. It is all about the win. That is all he's thinking about today.
38 to go, denied the win yesterday. Newgarden with 1 car to pass to retake the lead of this race. But that car isn't just any car. It's the championship leader and the man they all want to beat, Alex Palou. But does Palou have the car or the nous or the knowledge of this place quite like Josef Newgarden? Few drivers have more of an affinity with a racetrack than Josef Newgarden does. To here at Iowa, has a look up the inside. How much is he just toying with Alex Palou now? Is it just a matter of when and not if he passes Palou? Newgarden's so good at this track as Palou still struggles to fight his way through the traffic. Now Newgarden has the run. Now Newgarden takes the move. Now Newgarden runs for the lead of the race. Wheel to wheel and side by side. Palou goes high and Newgarden leads.
Malucas goes through by Palou as well, up to second place, and Newgarden back to the point. Now it's a Chevy 1-2.
Unbelievable. Newgarden back to what he will always see as his rightful place at the lead of the field. Josef Newgarden leads with 34 to go. Malucas is second. Palou in an instant has gone from the lead down to third with O'Ward catching.
Undeniable. That's the theme today for Newgarden. Nobody's going to take this win from me, and I'm going to do it forcefully to snatch it back wherever possible.
Welcome back, where Alex Palou leads the race. And why? Because the Chevy runners have come in to stop. First Connor Daly, then David Malucas, then the man who was leading this race, Josef Newgarden. And Newgarden has exited the pits, believe it or not, behind David Malucas. So this the onboard for Newgarden stop, and this is the reason why he fell behind Malucas. There was a bobble and a slow getaway.
Still clear.
Slow getaway then for Newgarden. And there's a yellow out, and I think it's Herta up in the wall.
It is, turn 3, and this is a killer for Newgarden.
Disaster for anyone that's just pit.
And that is the car of Herta. And once again, it's a front right. Is that a front right failure again?
Wow.
Oh,
all
boy.
3 Andretti cars.
Let's have a little look at the replay.
There it goes. You can see the car have a dramatic response right away, and you got to think this is setup related at this point with either cambers or something else. The consistency across the race team, all 3 cars having an issue. And for Newgarden and Malucas, terrible timing.
Terrible timing. And guys, when we take a look now at the running order out here on track, it is Palou from Armstrong, from Schwartzman, Dixon, Lundgaard, and Rosenqvist. That is your top 6. So many drivers have come in to stop and find themselves a lap down. But when the leaders are able to pit under caution, they will come out at the lead of the field. Once again, this has not worked out for Josef Newgarden or for any of those Chevy runners, not for Malucas, not for Daly. But we will, just as we did have yesterday, a run to the flag and everyone pushing. Let's listen to David Malucas, team radio.
Man, that's what he gets for trying to block me, man. This Honda stuff is just a joke. Every Honda just blocks you like crazy, man.
Onto pit lane, Palou and Armstrong. Georgia, take it away.
Well, and this was a last-minute decision from Barry Wanzer. Palou came over the radio and asked Barry what they were going to do. He said, we are going to pit. We're just deciding what we're going to do as of right now. Tires sitting over the wall. Obviously, they're going to put shell fuel in that car. So it's going to be 4 tires, shell fuel, and a tear-off for Palou.
Off Palou goes, followed by the car of Marcus Armstrong, then Scott Dixon, then Robert Schwartzman, who has lost a place on pit lane.
So Palou had a lap up to Newgarden and Malucas, but now with the wave around, that'll put Newgarden and Malucas at the tail end of the lead lap. But we're under 20 to go, so lap cars will have to move out of the way. It's a shootout when we come back. Gonna be wild here in Iowa. Don't go away.
Welcome back to NTT INDYCAR Series Racing from Iowa Speedway, live on Fox. 16 laps to go. We are under caution, and with everyone having made their final stops now, it is Palou, Armstrong and Dixon, an all-Honda top three from Robert Schwartzman, the rookie. Christian Lundgaard is 5th, Felix Rosenqvist is 6th, then Rinus VeeKay up from almost last on the grid. David Malucas, Josef Newgarden and Pato O'Ward. That is your top 10. It has flipped on its head.
James, we talked about strategy at the start of the race, and a key point was staying out. The Honda-powered cars of Palou, Armstrong, and Dixon got incredible mileage to extend the stint beyond what the Chevys could do, and they got the yellow at the right time. So, huge break. We go from a race where we wanted to talk about, well, we did talk about Team Penske. For good reason, they had the pace. Now all of a sudden it's Chip Ganassi Racing running 1 and 3 with Josef Newgarden. Long odds he'll have to come from 7th after this wave by on the restart to try to get back to the front.
I just can't believe the bad luck of the two. Twice in this same race while in the pits, a caution comes out and he gets trapped a lap down. Twice he's got that lap back and driven his way, or once he's driven his way back to the front, but he's not going to have many laps to try to do it again.
And twice it's an Andretti with a right front failure.
Yeah. But mileage has made the difference. Newgarden has had to pit early because he hasn't been able to get the same fuel mileage of those Honda cars. IndyCar will work through the running order here under caution.
You saw Luke Mason, the engineer for Josef Newgarden, staring up at the screen, probably in a little bit of disbelief, as IndyCar, with it being less than 20 laps to go, is running all the lap down cars through pit lane, so that way everyone on the lead lap is nose to tail racing for position.
Time to take a look at the Pennzoil moment of the race, and actually it's a couple of moments in this race, and it's those moments you guys have just been talking about. Josef Newgarden pits under green for the first time. Look high, there goes Ericsson into the wall. Nothing Newgarden can do about it. He's on pit lane, the caution is thrown, and all of his hard work is undone. What happens? He makes his way back to the front, pits from the lead, and once again as he sits on pit lane, it's an Andretti up into the wall, and all of that hard work comes undone.
Shootout, baby. 12 to go. Sticker tires for everybody. Fresh grip.
So you've got a driver and Armstrong sitting P2, never had a win, nothing to lose. You've got Palou leading the championship and the race with a lot to lose. Who's going to blink first?
2 Chevys in the top 5. Schwartzman, a rookie, the pole sitter from the Indy 500. The leader of those two. Palou will take us back to green as we circulate through 3 and into 4. Armstrong tucked up right underneath his rear wing, and now we go back to green. Dixon having a look at his teammate, and don't forget these two made contact earlier, and Lundgaard goes to make the move immediately, gets past Schwartzman and has a look at Dixon, and Rosenqvist wants in on the action as well now on the inside of Robert Schwartzman onto the mini backstretch, tucked up underneath the rear wing of Christian Lundgaard. It's Felix Rosenqvist hoping to make it a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Honda.
And Josef Newgarden was able to clear David Malucas.
And here comes Schwartzman back against Lundgaard. Schwartzman up to 4th.
Oh, a little wiggle there from the number 2 of Josef Newgarden. That's going to give Malucas a run off of 2.
And O'Ward wants to take it as well. Malucas does get through. O'Ward taking the advantage, and Newgarden drops back.
Malucas now on the outside of Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist falling back as Newgarden pulls out, trying to go on the inside of O'Ward, but O'Ward holds the position.
What a run from David Malucas as O'Ward now gets back around the outside of Felix Rosenqvist. And Josef Newgarden drops another position back as Rasmussen, as he loves to do on these ovals, on a tear in the final laps.
What has happened to Newgarden? His pace all of a sudden totally falling apart. His team telling him just take it easy and bring it home. So 8 laps to go. It seems like Newgarden no chance, and it's all Palou up front.
Palou and Dixon, they were running 1-2 a week ago in mid-Ohio, and it was a mistake from Palou that gave the win to Dixon. What chance of the same today? As Ferrucci battling there with Jacob Abel. But it's Pato O'Ward who gets past his teammate Lundgaard for 6th. Around half a second the gap between Dixon and Palou. We ride on board with Scott Dixon now.
As you said, Will, it was this exact scenario a week ago at Mid-Ohio, and it was a mistake from the 10 that allowed Dixon to get the lead and the win. He's going to need that again today because Palou has been so solid so far with just 5 to go.
5 to go until the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag, and Palou leads Dixon by 0.6 of a second. Armstrong has fallen 2 seconds back, but Malucas, incredibly, is up to 4th. Ward gets Schwartzman and moves up to 5th.
That was a bummer for Schwartzman there because he was on pace to finish 4th, would be his best IndyCar finish. Ironically, his previous best finish, 10th on the oval in St. Louis for a rookie who had never seen ovals. A great run today as Lundgaard presses.
Lundgaard presses Schwartzman, who will try to keep his foot stuck in around the outside, but he's dropping in these final laps. It's 3 to go now. Newgarden just narrowly still inside the top 10, and that is the gap between Palou and Dixon. It is 0.6 of a second. Next time through, it'll be 2 to go. Has Dixon got anything for Alex Palou? He's dragging something back, but it's remaining at about 0.6 of a second.
And now Alex Palou has traffic. Graham Rahal there. Really going to slow up Alex Palou. This could give Dixon a chance on the final lap.
Is this what Scott Dixon needs? We are on the last lap. Palou has struggled with traffic all the way through the day. Dixon senses an opportunity. Dixon looks to take a move, but Palou has it covered. Palou will lead his teammate home. It will be a Ganassi 1-2. Alex Palou will take the victory in Iowa. The run continues. Only his 2nd career win on an oval for Alex Palou, and my word, he had to work for it today. Ganassi back to the 4, Meyer Shank back on the podium. A wonderful run from Marcus Armstrong, his first podium of the season, his first since Detroit in 2024. And Alex Palou, a 7th win of the year, executed perfectly, as always, by Barry Wanzer and the DHL Honda 10 crew.
No donuts, bring it to victory lane.
No donuts, bummer.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, no worries.
Look after the engine.
What an incredible run from pole position. A great lap yesterday on that 2nd lap in qualifying to start him on point. He led 194 laps today, but it looked like it had all come undone with Newgarden's run there late in the race. That Honda mileage put them in a position to pull this off.
I'll tell you, a lot of aggression in Alex Palou's drive today, and I think that is reflective of the issue at Mid-Ohio, the mistake there while leading, seemingly with an easy win in his hands, and I think he's making up for it today. A fiercely determined drive.
A brilliant run from Alex Palou. It's easy to say, pole position, race win. That doesn't tell anywhere near the full story. Josef Newgarden will be devastated once again to have lost out today, not just on a victory, but even a podium with a car and a performance worthy of the accolade of returning to victory lane. It just hasn't worked out for Josef Newgarden. But that run from him and making those positions back really was something special. Dixon, just doing Dixon things, looking special all the way through, finishes 2nd. Armstrong, hats off to him, continues his top 5 run in the series and takes his first podium of the year. Malucas with a brilliantly strong run to 4th. Pato O'Ward back in the top 5, then Lundgaard and Rosenqvist. Rasmussen again in the top 10. Brilliant overrunning from him. What about Robert Schwartzman? 9th place, a best result for the rookie in his IndyCar career. 10th place in the end, as good as it got for Josef Newgarden.
You want to talk about Fred? You want to come with me? Yeah, okay.
And there will be no short amount of frustration in Josef Newgarden after this weekend.
It's tough to understand what happened there. He was right with Malucas on that restart. Malucas ends up P4. The guy that's got the dominant car all weekend long just can't get it done in that final 15 laps, ends up down in P10.
Yes, totally strange.
But it's a 7th win of the season for this man. The historic run continues for Alex Palou. We are witnessing history. There's no two ways about it. The man of the moment, once again, victorious.
That's how they beat us. You beat them.
There you go. Rub your ass off. Thank you, man.
Celebrations all around, still hugging all of his team. Let's just give them a moment just to enjoy this.
Yeah, left, right, up, down. That's awesome. That was fun. That's great. Every lane. Every lane. Side by side. Thank you. Great race. Thank you.
Quick conversation with the boss, Alex Palou. This is not deja vu. 7 race wins already this season, man. You can do it all. Super speedway, short ovals. How are you feeling?
Speechless, honestly, speechless. It's been an unbelievable day, unbelievable weekend, but more than anything, an incredible year for us. I cannot really believe it, honestly, and winning here, it's super special. Like, I struggled on short ovals for so long. Today, although the strategy helped us a little bit there at the end when we're P3, we're still trying everything that we could, and that worked for us. So yeah, super happy getting another win, 7 wins in 1 year. It's insane. So yeah, cannot thank enough our partners, our team, and cannot wait to do it again.
And in terms of saving fuel, it seemed like you guys were able to. Some of them yellows came at difficult moments where it maybe was going to split strategy. Just talk about the relationship you have and the trust you have with your team.
Yeah, I mean, they gave me a crazy number. I was like, that either we need to give up our starting position, like our leading position, or we need to go fast and try and do another stop. So it ended up working very good for us. Always trusting 100% the team that I have in the 10 car.
Most wins for our team ever.
Is it?
In a year.
Nice.
Well, that's a nice moment he has with his team boss. Chip Ganassi, fantastic result, 1-2 today.
A sensational result for Ganassi, 1-2, and a drive from Alex Palou. And he has now completed the set in 2025. Road course, street course, super speedway, short track oval. What a day for Alex Palou. More disappointment for Josef Newgarden. Back here at Iowa, and a weekend of what could have been for Josef Newgarden. Inarguably one of the drivers of the weekend, but he walks away without the winner's trophy that he coveted so much. This, your Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag moment as Alex Palou screams past to record his 7th win of the season. And this truly is now shaping up to be something special, the kind of season that you don't see every year, the kind of season that you don't see every generation. This is rare. Truly, truly rare. If it has been 60 years since we last saw this, imagine the next time we might see something like this, possibly not in our lifetimes. What a run from Alex Palou. Enjoy this moment that we are living in. It may never come again. Down to Georgia.
Scott Dixon comes home second today. Earlier today, you said you just threw the kitchen sink at this, and it took a little while to figure out, but ultimately, at the end that you did, how did you guys do it?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of changes. You know, we weren't really too sure how it was going to go. Obviously, we have an amazing engineering group here, and Brad and everybody, Chris did a phenomenal job to basically throw the kitchen sink at it. Yesterday, we were all kind of frustrated about not being able to use the Highline. So we tried to fix that, and obviously today it took us a little bit to work it out, but once we did, you know, the car was super fast. I think another stint, you know, would have been kind of fun. We needed a longer race today, but kudos to everybody on the PNC Bankman number 9, and to get a 1-2 for Ganassi, and obviously huge there for Maya Shank as well.
Thanks, Scott.
Georgia, I have 4th and 5th place with David Malucas and Pato Award, who are going to arrange things, your television producers as well. And I did want to ask you first, how do you come away from this? It's a great result, but you had a chance to win. On the last stop, you got in front of Newgarden.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way IndyCar is. It's part of the game. We decided to do the undercut. It tends to be a lot quicker. They waited out for a yellow, and unfortunately, the yellow came out for them. So that's just how it is. You know, we keep pushing. This is it's good for us. We've been on a consistent run ever since the 500. We've been on the upper trajectory, and the races, they're tough, but that's what makes IndyCar fun. We're always trying to play the guessing game and try to be up there. So we'll take this P4, hardest P4 I had to work for, and we'll take it to the next one.
Pato comes off a win, a top 5 today. Was there anything more available? Was that the best you had from where you started?
It was good fun today. That last restart was a lot of fun. Yeah, we just got a bit hosed there by the yellow, and I just think today I wasn't as good through traffic as the guys that I was fighting. So it was a bit more of a struggle to keep up. I didn't feel as sporty as I did yesterday, but yeah, all in all, I think we salvaged. We went from a top 10 to a top 5 in, I don't know, 8 laps or whatever, and I think that's yeah, we should be happy with that after we were fighting for it the whole race.
When you made that last stop right before the caution came out, which benefited the Ganassis, did you need to pit for fuel or for tires?
No, we were covering the undercut that David had done, and obviously when we went out and I saw him lead car versus then Josef and me, then I was like, oh, he's got it. He's going to win this. Because David was really, really fast today, as Josef was as well. But on that last restart, we all got hosed by the same thing. So we all had to fight our way forward, and yeah, solid top 5.
Yeah, very good weekend for Pato Award, a win and a 5th place finish. Back to Georgia.
Marcus Armstrong completes his first podium of the season on the grid before the race. You said, we'll see you on the podium, and you made it happen. How was this team able to do it?
Yeah, we made it happen. I was confident we were going to have a good day because last night we were finding our feet towards the end of the race, and we've been saving fuel for 2 races now, waiting for a situation like that there at the end. So I was very happy when I saw that yellow at the end. But overall, we've done an amazing job. I think that the number 66 Meyer Shank crew have done an amazing job in pit lane as well. I think we were among the benchmark down here, so I'm really happy.
This is now your 6th top 10 in a row, your first podium of the season. Can you feel that momentum going?
Yeah, we're just getting better every single race. I'm gelling with my crew better and better every race. But this championship is so competitive. You need to be on it every single session, every single lap, every single session, just like Alex Palou is. So we're getting there, slowly we're getting there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brilliant run from Armstrong, but once again, no one can beat this man. Alex Palou, a winner for the 7th time in 2025. Well, in a championship famed for its excitement and its unpredictability, and on a day of immense unpredictability, seemingly the inevitability is always that Alex Palou somehow finds a way. A 1-2 for Ganassi. Brilliant result for Armstrong in 3rd. Malucas comes home 4th. Then the McLaren duo of Award and Lundgaard, Rosenqvist, Rasmussen, Schwartzman and Newgarden, your top 10. Rest of the runners and riders all the way down to the rear of the field. Nolan Siegel, of course, not taking the start. McLaughlin and DiFrancesco out at the start, and Will Power retiring early on as well. A number of crashes, though, throughout that race. Alex Palou, your championship leader, extends his lead to 129 points.
I mean, look at the gap between Palou and his teammate now, Scott Dixon. That's 3 race wins plus as a gap. So, I mean, smooth sailing for Palou right now. 12 of 17 races complete. And the number 10, man, he's won on every circuit type this season, James. It's just been masterful.
I mean, we're running out of superlatives, of ways to describe what he's doing. But I got to be honest, guys, I love watching sports history be made. And the first couple wins is one thing, but when you get to this point in the season and what he's doing, it's hard to not just sit back and admire it.
And this is the thing. This is history. And I've said this before, but all too often we look back at the greats and say they were great, weren't they? We should take the time in the moment to say they're great, aren't they? And enjoy the ride, enjoy history being made, because you don't want to look back on it and wish you'd given them the credit they deserved at the time. What a day, what a drive once again from Alex Palou. Townsend, he just always seems to find a way.
Yeah, and just looking at Marcus Armstrong there, he should be super proud. I know we talked to him, he seems happy, but that team, Meyer Shank Racing, remember, technical partnership with Chip Ganassi Racing. This is basically a CGR podium with all the information the teams share, and Meyer Shank is really coming on strong at just the right time. Rosenqvist had a pretty decent day going for a while, but nice to see Armstrong get it done on a short oval.
And James, what a way to turn it around. Yesterday, all about the Penskes, the McLarens, and the Chevys. Today, all about the Honda teams.
Yeah, Honda's locking out the podium. Not something you would have probably guessed coming in here, just like what we saw at Gateway and even some other notable drives further back. Shout out to Jacob Abel on his career best in 11th there. It was just a day we didn't know what was going to happen until the very end.
Well, following tonight on Fox, Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service, followed by The Simpsons. And next Sunday, the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto at noon Eastern, only on Fox. We hope to see you there for that. But what a weekend of action we have had here at the Iowa Speedway. Yesterday, it was a fight between Josef Newgarden and Pato O'Ward, ultimately leading to the first McLaren win, the first O'Ward win, the first Chevy win of the season. But it's back to business today for Alex Palou, taking on all comers, beating Josef Newgarden once again. And we have to take our hats off to Newgarden for an incredible run around this circuit he loves so much. But Mr. Perfect, Mr. Inevitable, back on the top step of the podium, back where he belongs, and back where everybody wants to depose him. See if anybody can next weekend in Toronto. But for now, from all of us here in Iowa, it's a very warm goodbye.
The official INDYCAR app, powered by NTT Data, puts the pulse-pounding action of INDYCAR right at your fingertips. Never miss a lap with the latest news, highlights, and live race coverage. Track every move with real-time leaderboards, interactive maps, onboard cameras, and driver radio. Your all-access pass to every race, every moment, every day. Download the official INDYCAR app